8 months after the murders of 2 Edmonton police officers, police releasing more details Wednesday on how the 16-year-old shooter got the gun used in the killings of Constables Brett Ryan and Travis Jordan.
A 16-year-old should never have been able to get his hands on a gun. And it's heartbreaking that the trafficking of this rifle to this youth has led to multiple deaths and life-altering injuries, not to mention the trauma suffered by all of the families involved.
Charges have been laid against 19-year-old Dennis Okima, who police now say trafficked the firearm used in the line-of-duty shootings and an earlier shooting at a Pizza Hut just days before.
Our investigation has led us to conclude that shortly before the March 12th restaurant shooting, Okima sold the rifle directly to a 16-year-old youth.
Okima faces a list of charges including firearms trafficking and most notably 3 counts of manslaughter.
It's unprecedented, I think. I think it's an interesting way of accountability. I've never seen it before, where someone gets charged with manslaughter for trafficking a firearm.
Police say the gun was initially purchased legally at some point in Edmonton, but they're still investigating how it got into the 19-year-old's hands. Police say Okima and the 16-year-old shooter were likely known to each other, but they would not elaborate on those details.
Yeah, the manslaughter charges in this case is unique to my time being involved in these types of investigations. It's not the first time that we've had illegal firearms trafficked.
Okima was not previously known to police, and when he was arrested last week, officers found a stolen loaded handgun, ammunition, illegal drugs, cash, and other items related to drug trafficking. Jones says it will be interesting to see how this plays out in court, especially if they can get a conviction.
You're going to see a whole different level of investigation when it comes to shooting violence or gun violence in our country. I don't think this is an Alberta, Edmonton thing. I think this is a Canadian case law thing where Canadian case law might change. And if it does, you're going to see a different level of accountability for firearms violence.
Edmonton Police revealing there is no known motive as to why the 16-year-old took on this violence, saying there is no evidence it was planned. From Edmonton, Adrienne South, City News.
This is another piece closed, some closure from the families, but it's really the result of the quality investigation by the men and women of our police service and all those agencies.
Edmonton Police Chief Dale McPhee says the last 8 months have been difficult for his members, investigating the death of 2 of their own. But he is hopeful Wednesday's charges provide some closure. A
lot of officers, obviously there's an impact of a community, an impact of family, and I think you've heard us speak a lot about the gun violence, in particular some of the tragedies that we're seeing. And this closes some files, at least, on how this firearm got into the hands of somebody that obviously committed this tragedy.
EPS also recognizing there's still a need for healing for the 2 surviving shooting victims. Previously, police only publicly linking the gun used in the Pizza Hut shooting to the killing of Constables Brett Ryan and Travis Jordan 4 days later. Police able to confirm the same 16-year-old who pulled the trigger also shot Rich Albert while he was working.
There's a lot of damage done, and I think some of that will be he'll live with forever. Psychologically, he's still suffering, and it's taken quite a toll on him.
Inspector Dirksen says the trauma also continues for the mother of the 16-year-old shooter, who called police on her own son that March night, only to have him kill the responding officers, shoot her, and turn the gun on himself.
Physically, she's mostly healed. She's out of hospital, and she has some lasting damage as well, but she's mostly healed. Psychologically as well, she is she's in pain. She's got some challenges, and that's got a big ripple effect throughout her family as well, who've been very cooperative with us from the very start of that investigation.
Edmonton Police say their members are still grieving, and mental health supports continue to be offered, thanking the community for their support. In Edmonton, Carly Robinson, City News.